Did you miss me? Hello there guys, and welcome back to F1 2015. Now, I want to start this video off by saying I have to apologise for the lack of content on this channel for the past few months. It's been nearly 3 months since I uploaded the last video. That's primarily because I've just been really busy finishing off my university degree. I've just finished my exams just this past week, and now everything's all done until up to graduation. So I've got a bit more time now to do some videos. I'm going to try and make it up to you guys. So I've got a couple of series lined up for this. Firstly, it's going to be an actual championship season mode that I actually haven't done on F1 2015 just yet. There'll be a second one of those, but we're going to have a couple of tweaks to it. So, for example, I'll be starting from the back every time, and I'll be using the order of the 2016 calendar, or the F1 2016 calendar order. So Australia, Bahrain, China, as opposed to Australia, Malaysia, China. And then we're also going to have a let's play on a set of games that I found for a relatively cheap price. It's based off a game that was released about a month and a half ago. It's been getting some really good reviews, so I'm looking forward to doing a bit of that. So in the meantime, let's actually start up this championship season mode. Now, I've decided to do this championship season mode with Sergio Perez because I think I've got a pretty decent handle with the Force India, and also I think I can compete on the harder difficulty, the expert level difficulty, compared with the Jules Bianchi Tribute Career mode. I think I'm going to do much better on the harder difficulty. So without further ado, let's get into qualifying.
Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. We'll soon learn the true performance of these cars out on track. What can we expect to see in the following session?
Well, I think we're all expecting the Mercedes power unit to be particularly strong this year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them at the front. But I wouldn't discount Red Bull or Ferrari just yet. We know they have the talent and the resources to react to any problem, so although they may be playing catch-up, I would expect them to bring some major upgrades pretty early, maybe before we even get back to Europe.
Alright guys, we're here in qualifying one for the very first qualifying session of the championship season mode. As you can see, we've got the prime tyres fitted for the first session. I want to see, could we get the Force India into Q2 without having to use a set of soft tyres, and save those soft tyres either for later on in qualifying or for, more importantly, the race, where we may need to use more soft tyres over some of the other teams to make sure we stay ahead or be competitive. As we come across the line now for our first time lap, is actually 5th place. It's about 9/10 off what Lewis Hamilton managed, who finished fastest in the session. As you can see, who missed out on Q1, we have, surprisingly, Daniil Kvyat and Verstappen both missed out, alongside Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber and the 2 Manor cars. We're now into Q2. As you can see, we've swapped out the primes for the options as we come on to start our flying lap. We're only going to be doing one time lap for each session that we're in, just to make it a little bit more of a challenge. So, for example, if I do mess up, then it's just tough luck for me, and I have to deal with it. Anyways, we're now coming towards the end of the lap itself. We actually go fastest with the soft tyres, and maybe because of the setup that I'm running, I'm actually using a setup that's actually online and shown by Arav, the YouTuber who did it as part of his championship season mode. As you can see, our senior teammate Nico Hulkenberg failed to make it into Q2, but Alonso in the McLaren Honda somehow managed to make it in. That's quite a remarkable turnaround considering what actually happened in 2015 in real life. As we now start our lap in Q3, we've actually gone purple in the first sector as Bottas sets the current benchmark time to beat in Q3. We now cut to the end of the second sector, and we're still going purple, even though we've got a much faster time to beat now, with Hamilton having the currently in pole position. And as we come towards across the line, we actually managed to get the fastest time so far. Hopefully, we were able to hold on to that, and from the looks of the driver celebration, looks like we might have got pole position. Let's see.
What a great result for Sergio Perez. He's managed to get pole position for tomorrow's race.
We certainly appreciate how good a qualifying lap that was. Truly spectacular. Now, can he deliver the same type of performance tomorrow? I, for one, cannot wait to find out.
It's nearly 5 o'clock here local time, and welcome to race day here in Melbourne, Australia. The cars are on the grid and they should be setting off shortly for the formation lap. And what a Grand Prix this is looking like. After a poor season last year, Sergio Perez has found himself in pole position for today's race, and that's definitely a big opportunity for the Mexican.
It was a great qualifying by Sergio, and now he'll be wanting to prove that he can win races. He's been close before with a pair of second places for Sauber in 2012, but now he's in the perfect position to go one better.
Nico Rosberg looks to have the upper hand on Lewis Hamilton this weekend, but what can Lewis do today in the Grand Prix to finish ahead of his teammates?
Lewis is always confident he can win, but he'll know he's got a tough fight in his hands today. I'm sure he would have looked at the telemetry last night to see where Nico was faster, but if he can manage his tyres better today, I'm sure that will give him a chance of victory.
Alright, as you saw, we managed to get that pole position. Let's have a look at the race strategy for today's race. So it's actually going to be a 3-stopper with 3 stints on the option tyres, including the tyres that I'm starting on, and then a final stint on the primes. So fingers crossed we can actually get these tyres to last each of the distances. It depends on the... hopefully our race setup is useful for that, but let's see what happens.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
Lights out, and away we go for the opening round of the championship season mode. As you can see, we've got a pretty decent start off the line, but Rosberg is trying to go up our inside into turn 1. We're able to hold position round the outside and maintain first position, and now Rosberg's going to have to deal with the threats from behind, such as the 2 Ferraris, I think the 2 Williams, and also his teammate Lewis Hamilton, as we understeer wide going into turn 3. But fortunately we've got that gap to ensure that we don't lose any track position or anything like that, and we maintain our starting position of first place, and hopefully we can keep that gap. But unfortunately at the end of lap 1, Rosberg has already made up all that ground that he lost in turn 1 by the end of the lap as we come on to lap 2, coming into turn 1 now. Rosberg is too far back at the moment, but he's going to be a threat throughout the race, I think. As we cut to the end of lap 2, as you can see when I look behind, Rosberg is right in our rear, on our rear wing. Fortunately for us, it isn't. It's only lap 2, so he didn't have DRS during this on this straight, so we were able to hold the position there. Vettel tried a cheeky move up the inside, but was unable to make the move stick on Rosberg. We're now on to the end of lap 3, and Rosberg now has the DRS along with Vettel. He's going to try and make a move around the outside. We're going to cover the inside line and try and hold him off. You can see his front wing on the left-hand side of the screen there. He was alongside us for a little bit. We were able to fend him off into turn 1. Cutting to 1 lap later, and Rosberg's going to try and do the same move, try and make the move stick this time. But we've sort of forced him wide going into turn 1 with the line we take. I think it's a combination of the tyres going off as well. And as you can see, Vettel's managed to take advantage of Rosberg going wide, and now he's the major threat to the lead of the race as he tries to go up around the outside into turn 3, but we're able to hold him off. And now lap 5 is actually time to make our first pit stop, because unfortunately the tyres are actually degrading a lot faster than what the pit stop strategy predicted. So it's barely a quarter distance. We've already had to make our first pit stop, so it's going to be quite a challenge to try and make these tyres last towards the end of the race, especially the prime tyres, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Also coming to the pits was Kimi Raikkonen. It looks like he may be using an undercut tactic to try and get ahead of guys like Rosberg and Vettel. But anyways, we've rejoined the track. We're currently in 12th place. Got a pretty decent section of clear track, so hopefully we can make use of these new fresh tyres to try and maintain our lead. And as we cut to the end of lap number 6, we've caught up a massive train of cars that are looking to get these tyres to last a little bit longer. Kvyat is actually on the prime tyres, so he's going for a pretty long stint on this to start with, as considering he did start quite further down the field. We got up the inside going into turn 1. Quite easy, a very easy move for us as we come up towards the second DRS zone, and now we're going to try and make a move on Kvyat's replacement at Red Bull, Max Verstappen. We're going to go for a late braking maneuver down into turn 3, up into 4th place now. Some of the cars have actually, some of the front runners also made their pit stops on the previous lap, so that's why we're back up into 4th place. As we get a pretty good run on Marcus Ericsson coming up into the second sector, we go round the outside into the right-hander, and we're now back into the podium positions. As we come towards the end of lap number 7, the remaining 2 drivers that are yet to pit from the front runners, Ricciardo and Hamilton, have now come in, and now we are back into first place. And actually, Kimi Raikkonen's made up some good ground as well, after also making the undercut work a treat by pitting earlier on the same lap as us. We've got a pretty decent gap over Raikkonen at the moment. However, a few laps later, he's managed to reel us in pretty much no time at all. He was just gaining around half a second a lap on us, mainly because our tyres are once again going off. I don't know really what was happening. I think it was just mainly the tyre pressure setting that I've got on the actual car setup itself. So it's probably something I'm going to have to change for the future races, such as Malaysia, which is quite a high tyre wear track. As we come into the pits for our second pit stop of the race, Raikkonen actually stayed out for another lap, so looks like he's managing to keep the tyres to last a little bit longer. We're going to put on the second set of option tyres, and hopefully we can get some clear air once again to ensure we avoid any possible overcut that Raikkonen or Rosberg may try as when they make their pit stops. As we cut to the end of lap 14, there's a couple of cars that were in the pits. Raikkonen and Rosberg have already made their pit stops. Hamilton's also now in the pits. He pitted one lap later, if we remember, at the first round of stops, and now he's managed to get himself up into second place. So we cut to the end of lap 18. We once again got reeled in by the two Mercedes. Hamilton managed to get up to second with Rosberg in third. Raikkonen did drop behind both Mercedes in that pit stop window as we come in for our final pit stop of the race, fitting the prime tyres to last 11 laps. That might be a bit of a tall order considering how bad our tyre wear has been during this race itself. As we come out of the pits, we rejoin in 8th place. Bottas has now overtaken us as we come into turn 1. So we're going to try and see if we can get these prime tyres to the end of the race. We may end up having to sacrifice the race win here as we go up the inside of Valtteri Bottas as we head up into the start of the second sector. We're up into 7th place. Now, unfortunately, because of my squabbles with Bottas and alongside a couple of mistakes I made on the out lap and the following lap, Rosberg was able to overcut us and jump us in the pit stop. So unfortunately, we have effectively lost the race lead because Rosberg is in front of us, and Hamilton was in front of Rosberg before I made my pit stop. So we've lost 2 positions to both Mercedes, and Mercedes look like they've got the 1-2 in the bag here as we come on to lap 24. As we come out of the pits, we've got Maldonado coming out of the pits. Look at this, we've got 2 Mercedes having a squabble or something, and we've managed to overtake Hamilton. From the replays, which unfortunately I can't show you, Hamilton actually collided with a back marker. I think it was the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz, and that put him into a spin, and that allowed Rosberg to take the lead and allowed me to pick up the pieces and take second place away from the British driver. But we know that Mercedes is quick, especially with the tyre wear problems that we've been having. As you can see, we're on to lap 25 now. Hamilton's going to try and go around the outside as we enter the fast left and right hand chicane style corner, a very famous corner around Albert Park, and he was unable to make the move stick there. He lost a bucket load of time because of that failed attempt. We now cut on to lap 26. We hit the curb pretty hard, which compromises our exit out of the corner, and Hamilton's made up all that time that he lost from making that maneuver, and he's going to try and do the same and try and make it stick this time, but we're able to hold it around the outside once again. We've compromised our exit on the second part of the corner, and that cost us a bit of time, and that has ensured that Hamilton is still pretty close to us despite making mistakes. As we come towards the same point on lap 28, we've once again compromised our exit off that corner, and Hamilton is going to have another go around the outside. As you can see, Raikkonen's also trying to join into the action, and we're going to fend off Hamilton here. Hamilton is now going to suffer a lot more than what he did before. He loses time and also track position to Kimi Raikkonen, who's now in 3rd place, with Hamilton in 4th, as we understeer wide a little bit into the right hand. As we come on to the start of the final lap, Raikkonen is to try and go down the inside into turn 1. He might have got the move done there, but we hold it around the outside. We made a little bit of contact on the exit of the corner, but we're able to hold on to the position. As you can see, the tyres are completely dark orange, pretty much red, as we understeer wide once again to that corner. Raikkonen's going to have a massive run on us coming up towards the end of the second sector. Can he make the move stick unlike Hamilton? No, he can't. He's been forced wide by us again. And looks like there's a yellow flag because I think the 2 Ferraris made contact as Vettel was also closing in on this battle between myself, Hamilton and Raikkonen as we come across the second last and last corners. Rosberg has won the race, but it's going to be really close between myself, Hamilton and Raikkonen as to who gets the final 2 podium slots. Hamilton is really closing in here. Are we going to hold on? Yes, we do. We just about hold on for a second place, and that's a pretty good start to the championship season.
And that's a win for Nico Rosberg at the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. What a result for this German driver.
What a fantastic result for Nico. He'll be so happy to start the season on such a positive note.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye and see you again next time.
So behind the top 3 we had Kimi Raikkonen in 4th, Sebastian Vettel in 5th, Ricciardo finishing in 6th for Red Bull, Felipe Massa in 7th, Kvyat making good use of a two-stop strategy to get himself all the way up into 8th place and scoring points despite a very poor qualifying, Bottas finishing in 9th for Williams, and Verstappen doing a similar thing to Kvyat, finishing in 10th place and picking up the final point for Toro Rosso. As we scroll down, the only retirement was Jenson Button, and Nico Hulkenberg finished outside the points in 14th place. And if we cut to the Drivers' Championship on the actual Championship Season Mode menu screen, as you can see, there's not really much change to the actual results because, of course, it's the first round. So we're in 2nd place, 7 points behind Nico Rosberg and 3 ahead of Lewis Hamilton. But the most important thing is actually, the more interesting thing is to look at the Constructors' Championship. So if we cut to that, and Force India are currently sitting in 3rd place with 18 points behind Mercedes and Ferrari, with Red Bull, Williams and Toro Rosso, the other teams, scoring in the first race of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed the first race of the Championship Season Mode. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you have any feedback on how I can make the series better, please let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all for the next episode, which will be the second round of the 2015 season at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. Until then, see you later.